Let's move on. 1 p.m. Eastern. Atlanta Falcons 5-7, 4-2 on the road at Carolina Panthers 5-7, 2-4 at home. Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. 50 Fahrenheit, sunny, 8-mile-per-hour winds. Atlanta, Carolina. Carolina opening up at -3 at -108. They're now -3 at +112 at Pinnacle. So 2.5s are coming quickly. Birdie went ahead and look, Dennis Garcia says Washington wins the game outright. Birdie already locked in the Falcons at +3. And it looks like it will not be available anymore. Let's see where the cash is in this spot. Wow. How could anybody, this is not now, granted, on our Tuesday shows, the sample size of our tickets are less than 10% of what we're going to have come kickoff. But here, this is just nuts. What do you deal with that? 48% of the tickets are on the Panthers and 85% of the cash. Well, if that's the case, then why is it moving to 2.5? Then you have 65% of the tickets and 62% of the cash on the over. Turnsey says, how the hell can Carolina be favored over anyone right now?
I kind of agree with Turnsey here.
Oh,
what are the Carolina Panthers right now?
Oh, I agree completely. DX Filer in the house. Great to see you. Dan Kelly says, looking at the cash now, it's like looking at the weather now. You know, that's been mentioned before to me, and I don't feel that way because I love knowing where the early action is. I think it helps. That's the action. Now, obviously, you want, you don't want to be judging anything with a small sample size. There's Mr. Twate Latte with the dono. Twatty, I miss you, man. I miss capping with you. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania's Twate Latte in the house. Falcons coming off a 30-17 loss at home to the Buccaneers. I saw them get shut out in the second half. Matt Ryan was 30 of 41, 297 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Russell Gage caught 11 passes for under 30 yards. Kyle Pitts caught 4 for 48. Cordero Patterson, 4 catches for 48. Ran 13 times for 78 yards. Mike Davis, there was a Mike Davis sighting. Ran 4 times for 32 yards and a touchdown. Foye Aluokin had another big game. 15 tackles. But the Falcons couldn't muster any kind of pass rush. 0 sacks, 1 quarterback hit. They were unable to slow down Brady, who threw for 368 yards and 4 touchdowns. Defensive lineman Marlon Davidson did run an interception in, but it was sort of a fluke situation. Safety Richie Grant and their linebacker Ogundeji both were hurt during the game with ankle injuries, listed as questionable this week. Quarterback Fabian Moreau dealing with an ankle injury and is questionable this week. Defensive end Jonathan Bullard inactive last week, questionable this week. And Hayden Hurst designated to return from injured reserve. Panthers come in off a bye week. They are fresh. They were last seen a disastrous 33-10 loss to Miami, 7th loss in 9 games. They fired Joe Brady as offensive coordinator. Cam Newton was awful, 5 of 21 for 92 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He has lost 10 consecutive games as Carolina's starting quarterback going back to 2018. PJ Walker came in and was marginally better, going 5 of 10 for 87 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. DJ Moore caught 4 passes for 103 yards. They couldn't stop Tua Tagovailoa. They managed just 2 stacks and 2 quarterback hits and made Tua look spectacular. Christian McCaffrey done for the season. Their number 1 corner, Dante Jackson, done for the season. Guard John Miller was held out of the game with an ankle injury. Offensive tackle Trent Scott was placed on IR, but they did designate Cameron Irving, an offensive tackle, to return. That game against Miami was probably, the easiest game of the year from a capping standpoint. I find it hard to believe that they're going to have Cam Newton as a starting quarterback here on Sunday, but they haven't let us know that that's not going to happen. Terry Walker says, don't forget to let us know that that Cam's back. Well, I can't do that, but I can let you know that that Bebsie's back.
I'm back.
I can give you that. Bebsie, take it away here. Falcons, Panthers.
Look, I'm not going to bet this game because this is, what do you call it, a bum fight? I know these teams are 5-7 and still, I think 1 or 2 games back of a playoff spot right now, which is crazy. But both of these teams are bad. I believe that Carolina is worse. Again, because one of these teams has an NFL caliber quarterback, and the other team has PJ Walker and Cam Newton. And to put into perspective just how bad Cam is, look at what the Patriots are doing without him. Yeah, They added some players on offense. They got some guys back. Obviously, their defense is much better. But they're rolling out Mac Jones and leading their division right now. Cam, they were abysmal last year with Cam. Cam comes over to the Carolina Panthers. He's abysmal there. His arm's done. He can't throw a football anymore. Teams have figured that out. And so, look, bet Atlanta if you're going to bet this game, please. But do not bet the Carolina Panthers. I just, they're so bad. They're so bad. They don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, I've lost. The 3 is gone now, and it's annoying. If I wanted to see if I could get that 3, it would cost way too much money. It's disappointing. Harold Williams says, I agree this might sneak over. Dennis Garcia says, situationally, Carolina is the play. Again, I don't love Atlanta, but just don't know how on earth you lay points with Carolina. Birdie said, I also took Atlanta money line. Paul Young says, next game, this game is trash. Dennis Garcia, by the way, is on Atlanta +3 and the over 43. Gerald Jones made the total at 46. I'm beating myself up for not taking the Hurricanes here after we talked all about Neil Pionk being out and how the Hurricanes are now used to playing without 2 defensemen. It's just making me so angry. I'm just becoming filled with rage. Okay, Falcons, Panthers, no move at this point, but I should have moved on the 3 when I had the chance. Is there any way that Rule can have these guys ready to go off of the bye? Is there any chance without McCaffrey, without Dante? Is there any chance?
They do not have an NFL caliber quarterback. I can't stress that enough. And they don't have a strong enough line or running game or receivers to make up for that. You can hide a terrible quarterback with a good scheme and great other players, but they don't have enough of those other players on this team to hide just how many times have they pulled their quarterback this season to put in a worse quarterback?
Is it possible they start with PJ Walker?
No, I don't think so. I think they come in with Cam. He plays terrible. They try to shift to PJ Walker. He also plays terrible. They're left doing this at the end of the game.
You don't think that PJ Walker is capable of changing the flow and that maybe the first half Falcons is the best way because we know that Newton's going to be under center? Or there's no difference between how bad they are?
I think Walker is physically better than Cam at this stage in Cam's career. Cam might have a slight edge mentally, but they're both bad.
Well, God, sorry. I was not even. Ron Crawford, great to see you, my guy. No worries. Tied up in conference all week. Great to see you now. Birdie says no. They fired their offensive coordinator because the head coach is deflecting from himself, firing. And what the hell was his name again? Joe Brady, of course. Firing Brady was an absolute bullshit move.
Not wrong, Birdie.
Way over his head, and he's trying to keep his job for another year. Terrency says Newton should be joining the Island Boys in their next music video. All right, I think that I should have moved on the Falcons already, and I'm disappointed in myself for not doing it. All right, let's move on. So I'm going to figure out how to bet the Falcons here. And then quickly on this total in the Atlanta game, 43.5 down to 42.5. We have the Panthers favored, so we get their team total at 21.5. You think the Falcons defense can keep them under 21.5 points? Or too low?
It's a bit too low. Both of these teams are sloppy enough that you can see turnovers and defensive scores. It's what would keep me from doing an under in this one.
All right, I've got more things to decide, but I'm going to move somehow on this game. I just don't trust the Panthers whatsoever. Birdie says too low in his opinion.